Hi there, it's me, Gamer Tired here. I'm recapping My Hero Academia Season 7 episode 18, total episode 156. Please subscribe, watch fully, and send donations on Ko-Fi, one time starting at $7, or monthly on Patreon page, Anime Tower Space Tunes, starting at $2 a month. Let's get started. With the overwhelming attack granted by Tsumi's White Balder, All for One is successfully pinned down, and the heroes consistently move in to back the students up and keeping the villain away from Deku and Tomura, as Dark Shadow tries to hammer his fist down onto the man again. It and the supporting heroes are blown back by a massive burst of energy mixed with radio waves. All for One breaks out of the attack and says that everyone who relies on brute strength are nuisances. Everything is now different about him. His body has reverted in age from a seasoned adult in his prime to that of a young teenager. The young man flies off again towards his destination as heroes struggle to catch him again. While restoring Dark Shadow's power, the worsened things got Gigamachi running wild towards his master in the distance, meaning he somehow broke out of his containment in Jaku City. All for One ordered his subordinate to crush his adversaries, but is instead met by the giant carving out of an enormous piece of battlefield and throwing it at him. Villain is confused at his subordinate's out of character behavior. He quickly grows annoyed as he spots Red Riot and Hitoshi on Gigamacha's back, with the latter adjusting his artificial vocal cords sometime shortly after Dabi's internal defeat at the Jaku General Hospital ruins. The heroes are having trouble dealing with their portion of the villains. They're floating above the purple gas clouds. The Liberation soldier involved in Midnight's death began using a sonic device which keeps his opponents grounded and can partially wake up Gigamachi due to the frequency of the sound waves emitting All for One's voice. Mount Lady runs up to the man and swings down at him with a giant wrench tossed to her by Rule. But it's too late though, and Gigamachi reawakens, bursting out of his containment shed and ramming the woman to the back. Red Riot runs behind the shed toward Hitoshi, as he was hidden away from the villain's rather important task and now needs to be fulfilled. Red Riot yells for Hitoshi to use brainwashing on Gigamachi, but the boy is caught by the sludge villains who's beginning to swallow his body. That lady tries to fight off the Gigamachi, but is easily beaten to the dirt before the giant fall goes for a lethal swing of his mole claws. Pinky comes to the rescue, pushing by her fond memories of Midnight and her desire to make up with the weakness she buckled under when forcing Gigamachi the first time. She splashes the villain's claws with Acid Man Alma, which potent enough to melt through his tough skin and corrode the surface of his own. Thanks to some extra training she requested from Shoto and Dynamite, she then rushes in front of Red Riot and uses the same move on the sludge villain, which mixed with his sludge body forces the villain to release Hitoshi and try to scurry away. Someone call out for the sludge villain to wait, and he responds back, only to be affected by Hitoshi's brainwashing, halting him in place. After thanking Pinky for saving him, Hitoshi is able to quickly maneuver towards Gigamachi with his capturing weapon. He uses Persona Cloud chords to control the villain by replicating All For One's voice. Shortly after, the controlled Gigamachi easily dispatches his comrades, which are then restrained by Mudman, spelling the victory for the heroes. At Deku City, the exhausted Pinky begins to pass out from dehydration and is swiftly caught by a concerned Red Riot. He apologizes to his friend for not doing more to help her, but Pinky considers them even now for the time he had made up for her mistake in this sedating Gigamachi during the first war. Red Riot tells her that she never owed him anything and says she's just as much his hero as he is to her. We're getting ready to transport the villains. That lady received the recent status updates from All For One, which made her and the other heroes and Gigamachi mobilize toward their present location to assist in stalling the man until Rewind reverses his body to nothingness. All For One shoots on energy blasts at Gigamachi to break his brainwashing to the heroes. This despair, as they fear All For One will order him to attack them all as he flies away. In spite of All For One, Gigamachi responds that even though he looks different, he can recognize his scent as his master. Proceeding to ask why he abandoned him back during the first war. But going to another attack, Hitoshi deduces that this behavior isn't a result of reusing his brainwashing on him, but Gigamachi's feelings overriding some of the control, similar to what happened to Deku in the sports festival. When everyone to resume their assault over the ground near the coffin sky. Two helicopters are surveying the broadcasting a live stream of Deku restraining Tomura through Gento's channel, which is currently being viewed all over the world. The duo in the first aircraft includes the reporter who tried to interview Deku about All Might on his second day at school, who's amazed at how the kids come in just over a year. The other one is someone who encouraged Endeavor and heroes during his press conference after the first war, who feels regret for her harsh words and has now sprung into action back up the heroes in giving the rest of the world a sense of hope for Japan's future. Eventually, a partially regenerated All For One gouges Mount Weighty in the hip, and another giant head connected to rivet stab neck and slices in the shoulder with a laser. The villain having regressed back in age a bit more and struggles to maintain a lid on his dark thoughts due to his younger mental state. Fires an impure beam at Dark Shadow, blowing it up and sending the Rampage Tatsugami and Hawks flying to the ground. After defeating Gale Force, All For One stands unopposed once again and rewinds himself by taking fierce wings from Hawks, while declaring he'll do the same to Tsuzami's Dark Shadow afterwards, since he's impressed by the boy's strength. The now quirkless hero notices that the amount of quirks in the man's arsenal haven't decreased with age from the modified rewind effects, as the injuries and heroes inflicted are preventing the stored quirks factor from disappearing. All For One can't make practical use of fierce wings, however, due to how damaged his victim's quirk factor is, and stops his gloating after he feels a pop spear land on his garments. Grape Juice tells All For One that if he tries to take Tatsuya's quick, it'll just turn him into a cringy emo edgelord. He recommends that he still pop off instead to get both of the new quality and a sick hairstyle. and begs the young man with tears in his eyes not to steal dark shadow from his classmate. All for One has completely lost interest in responding to the cries of the weak. By now, it drops Hawks on the ground before levitating into the air. After noticing one of the news helicopters flying over them and giving one last statement to the heroes on how badly they've failed and will then go on to lose the public support again. He flies up to top speed towards Tamura to resume his grand plan. As Hawks stumbles in the attempt to get up, he weakly hangs onto his shoulder in hope that the heroes can pull through in the end. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Help reach 1,000 plus subscribers. Helps increase those subscribers to 1,000 plus. Watching fully helps increase the watch hours to 4,000 plus, and help fund the channel by donating one time monthly or monthly on the Patreon page, Avatar Space Tune starting at $2 a month, or Ko-Fi starting at $7 for one time donation. Have a blessed day. See you next visit. Bye for now. Bye.